Okay, but we're back with you together, not as a candidate just alone, but also as a political party that is participating in the election.
First of all, let me, on behalf of my party,
okay,
thank all Ugandans of all walks of life. Wherever we've gone, at least we've been to every part of the country now. Central, Western, Eastern, Northern, we have had a footing there. And also give it to our candidate, because he's fairly young and energetic. He hasn't literally had a day to rest. It's been a marathon through districts and through long distances. We've had to deal with one, of course, this whole thing of compacting an election, a country-wide election, in just a matter of days. Okay, let me not even call months, whereby a president...
It's always been about a 90-day campaign period.
But you have 100 and, is it 39, 44 around districts. You have about 500 constituencies, both women and direct, to canvass for. So a presidential candidate doesn't even have a single day in each district. So you have to literally stamp 2 districts a day. It's a tall order. It's actually a drive-through. It's actually a drive-through. Hardly do you have time to gather people, speak well. Then we have to deal with the question of venues became an issue, where now the venues, because we were handed over, the Electoral Commission handed over the determination of venues to RDCs. RDCs who are partisan. So they were selecting value. I remember one that was in Riantonde, okay? For all purposes and purposes, it was deep in the mountain, somewhere 20 kilometers away from Riantonde town. Is where you send a candidate where there are no people. So, and that has been everywhere, where there are venues that are easily accessible, venues that a candidate can easily go to, they were denied. Okay. Then you had to deal with the jamming, unknown to you. Every campaign venue of our candidate, you have to beat the jammer to simply be on TikTok, simply be on live, on Facebook Live. They put there a jammer to ensure still they limit your reach. But then you also had to deal with, for us, whereby a great number of our cadres today are languishing in prison on offenses, driving without a license. I mean, it's incredible. You lay a whole convoy and pick up people, so you have no traffic license, you have abused the traffic, and you do that kind of thing. So intimidation and brutality. Today, what is emerging? The professors may not know. One, all across many countries, they are changing returning officers. They profile them, given the task they want to give that particular electoral area in terms of what they expect the returning officer to do. When they profile you, you are solid, you are principled, you will be pushed to another district. So the profiling.
That's an allegation. What directly points to that?
For me, I can tell you in my district, they've changed DSOs, they've transferred RDCs, they have transferred...
It could be a routine, because they're not permanent RDCs or returning officers.
Returning officers, even returning officers at sub-counties have been profiled, and you know, others, for them they're kicked out, actually, at sub-county level. You are not transferred, you are simply kicked out. Say, okay, you are no longer a returning officer. So they are trying to do this. The RDCs and the intelligence is profiling and drawing up a long list of people to pound on. They are putting up trumped-up charges. I have a counselor, okay, today who has been called to go to police, Mabingo, somewhere. It's because some candidates feel he has mobilized the sub-county so well, so you need to eliminate him. So you are dealing with those kind of situations.
All right, not an easy one for you.
Give it as is. What these professors may not know, and I don't know whether you've studied the audience, is the determination of young people to regain their destiny and shape the future of their country.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Chivumbi. Quite unfortunate. It seems a tough one for you, not just as a candidate, but as political parties as well. Let's go to the gist of the conversation, which is about the most recent declarations, unopposed candidates, disqualifications coming through at a point in time where we would have thought that there was due diligence done to ensure that if Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi is duly nominated, or if Rogers Bargayomwe is duly nominated, it is a done deal, only to find out later that it is not the case. For Professor Rogers, let me start with you particularly. What do you see behind these disqualifications? What do you see behind these unopposed declarations now that are much more than we were seeing in the past?
Yeah, like I told you, it's a predetermined election whereby government said instead of its public image being damaged, let them use these stunts like Honorable Chivumbi was talking about. Why do they, for example, change RDCs? Because these RDCs, when they stay in the community, they get familiar, however radical they were for the NRA, but they get familiar with these candidates and they become objective, any person. So they would rather change you and you go to a new ground and with a new instruction. So RDCs actually are acting as military deployment. So these things you see also in electoral commission, they were also cadres. And that is the unfortunate part where we are going. Before, we used to have an electoral commission with even known opposition leaders, like I'll tell you, Robert Chitariko, who was a prominent DP, but a commission of electoral commission, in his own right, an objective person. When such gentlemen were removed who had a right mind, who were so professional, who some of them had worked in previous government, they are civil servants, they were removed. That's why now they put the word independent electoral commission, because they knew the commission is no longer independent, so they want to put the word.
But that was a conversation that came out of the Citizens' Compact on Electoral Democracy, including the level of an electoral commission chairman being a high court judge.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But look at the placement of cadres. And even with influence peddling of positioning in government, some of these people have their relatives, intentionally. I saw it and I've been personally studying from the formation of parliament to the commission. These people started positioning about 3 years ago, several years ago, positioning people in influential positions. So now, if you see people come out and say some of the signatures of nomination are forged, people have inside information, they have insiders. And that is to the advantage of the manipulators of the system, infiltrated, penetrated by what President Museveni called Kawukum. Civil servants who are paid about $1 million, even some under $1 million. Civil servants who are paid about $1 million, even some under $1 million, and some are clerks. But such individuals who we know can even give 100 million, one, for a disqualification of a candidate, whereby if I was to spend in Uganda here, we spend about over $1 billion in elections. So if I'm to spend on a clerk to do some data, if I'm spending in EC 100 million, I would be saving a lot. So these people in the EC have been infiltrated. There is a lot of, in the president's word, kawukumi in the EC, and that's why you see these distortions. Let's
get to see the Electoral Commission. We have Mr. Julius Muchunguzi, who is the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission. Julius, good morning to you. There's been a lot of allegations of in-house trickery, in-house machinations over the kind of disqualifications that we are having, and allegations of bribery as well in there that have come. What do you make of these, especially with the recent disqualifications? One would have asked, wasn't due diligence paid by the Electoral Commission before you could actually get to nominate any of the candidates who were disqualified later?
Thank you very much, Mildred, and good morning to to the viewers of NBS this morning. I'm hearing the guests in there making lots of unfounded statements. But let me say to the question that you have asked, and then I'll respond to what the guest has been saying. What is ongoing and what has been ongoing has been the commission, as provided for in the laws that govern elections, that anybody who has a complaint arising out of any process of elections is at liberty to bring it to the attention of the commission as a complaint or as a petition, and the commission is mandated to hear those petitions, hear the presentations from the petitioners, receive the evidence of the complaints that are brought, hear from the respondents, examine and cross-examine everybody that brings evidence, and on the basis of the evidence produced, on the basis of the electoral laws, the commission makes a decision. Now, the decisions, first of all, the framers of the electoral laws were aware that complaints are bound to emerge in the process of elections. And that is why they put there that provision that anybody, any voter, is at liberty to bring the complaints to the commission. They were aware that mistakes can be done. They were aware that there may be oversights. They were aware that candidates or their supporters may submit